All right. I believe we can begin. I'm super happy to see everybody attending today and joining us and tuning in to listen to the what's happening and what are trending regarding the Business Central. And we have quite an interesting agenda lined up for you today, together with all the speakers. So you are going to hear mostly, and the webinar focus is towards the Business Central. So you are going to hear how the Business Central SaaS is being performing in Central and Eastern Europe region. Also, we'll have a partner, Alien, sharing their story, how they have transformed towards Business Central SaaS from perpetual business model and perpetual licensing model, as well how you will hear more from Companials, as well how can we support and how we are supporting partners towards moving to the cloud, and basically we'll hear more what is trending and how we suggest and what is important not to miss out when you are beginning your journey towards the cloud. So today, it's not only myself who will be here together with you, sharing the expertise and the knowledge. We have Snezhana from Microsoft. She's SMB Business Application Sales Lead. Also, as I mentioned before, we have partner Alien from Romania. Mihaela is one of the founders of Alien Solutions from Romania, as well as the technical development manager at Alien. Also, you'll hear from Companials, Runas, who is from technical services business line at Companial, Business Central team lead. We'll be sharing a little bit more the best practices, how to upgrade and how to get to the newest version. Also, you will be hearing from Ronald, who is our cross-regional engagement manager for hosting. Then Herman, our business development manager at Companial. You will hear more how we are supporting partners in education and upskilling. And also myself, so my name is Garmantas. I'm running Central and Eastern Europe region at Companial. So I'll be sharing more the context, what's happening and where to put focus when considering moving to cloud. And with that, I'm happy to hand over basically to our first speaker, but before it, what is crucial? So it's crucial your engagement is part of the experience, so don't kind of hesitate. If you have any follow-up questions, just post them in IM window. Share your feedback and don't hesitate to ask questions. So our first speaker of today is Snezhana, and Snezhana is going to share a little bit more what is the current temperature in Central and Eastern Europe when it comes to the Business Central as a workload. So with that, Snezhana, floor is yours, and you are good to go. Thank you.
Hello, everybody. I'm just looking if I managed to take the control properly. Yes, I did. Okay, so hello, everyone. Thank you for having me again. It doesn't feel like that long time. I was in May in Lithuania, had the opportunity to meet a lot of you face to face, have like really good discussions, took back home with me some valuable learnings and takeaways, to be frank. And when I was asked by Companial team to join you for this webinar, I was more than willing to jump in. So having in mind that, and I always say that, our partners, when it comes to Dynamics, are experts on the matter, and they are the ones who are able to serve our customers the best way. And we as a Microsoft are here primarily to support you as our partners on this journey to make sure that you have the tools and any kind of additional resources that you need in order to deliver successfully. Business Central was always, from the moment it showed up, was always in SMB something as a star, right? And the moment it kicked off, everybody were like, oh, it's going to be very difficult. It's not the same model like we are used to deliver the ERP. It's going to be very hard, and the customers are not used on something which is not that complex and time consuming and resource consuming and everything else. But actually, the practice shows completely differently. So I'm gonna just share with you a couple of intro slides, which I'm not gonna take time on it, but they're gonna stick with you because what is very important is that Business Central is one compact solution, which actually gives an opportunity for this, especially small and medium companies, to connect sales, services, finance, operation teams on a proper level, and all in order to be able to actually perform much better, to adapt to the market and the trends which are moving insanely paced, and to work smarter from the perspective to use internal resources in the best possible way. What is also very important for all of us to keep in mind that when we are talking about the Business Central, we are talking about the SaaS, and we want the customers to have the ability to use all available features of the product, which we all know are not the same case when you're doing it on premise and when you're doing it in cloud. And especially now with kicking in with the AI and the Copilot, we need to be very upfront. We need to be very clear in communication to our customers, because at the end of the day, everything what they at the end of the day decide to purchase is their investment, very valuable investment. Especially with the SMBs, when they decide to invest, it's a very big deal for them. So if you end up, and there were cases with a customer who at the end of the day bought on premise and invested in infrastructure and everything else, and then they are like, oh, we want this feature and we want this feature and we need this now because we are now moving in this phase of the business, and you are giving the feedback, but yeah, that is not possible with on premise. They are like, we are not happy. We are not happy now because at the end of the day, we needed to know that we are at some point going to be in the different place, and we need all these other features, and we have as a responsibility, not only as Microsoft, but you as our partners, to communicate very clearly to all of them where they are and what are the restrictions when they are purchasing on premise, because now in future, with all this which is happening, definitely these differences between on-premise and SaaS are going to be very, very big. And as always, when I'm invited to this kind of webinars, people like me to share some data which could be valuable for you and give you certain insight. So when it comes to the SaaS, and when we are looking at the whole Central East Europe, not only multi-country region, which I'm responsible of, we see really, really nice growth year over year, which is 154%. And what I extracted now for you as a data, which I did not share in May, is maybe you could see what is the average revenue per customer and what is the average number of the seats per each customer, which is also very important for us to identify that definitely this is the SMB product. So at the beginning, it was not this case. At the beginning, it was offered widely, but through this whole year, actually, somehow the focus came on the level of what was the expectations from the beginning. This is the SMB product targeting small and medium companies, and the data actually showcase that. What is also very important, we want you to know that we grew new customer adds year over year 109%. So even doubled in and more. And what we see as a trend is that 73% is now definitely SaaS, comparing to the on-premise, which was not the case in previous years. One more data that I wanted to share with you, which is more like, let's call it internal marketing, Microsoft planning data, where we put our certain targets for us at the beginning of the fiscal year 23 was, okay, so when we look at the product in Dynamics, we said, okay, the biggest market share has F&O, right? 30% of the all-up revenue. What is our goal when it comes to the business application? Our goal is to reach at least 30% of all revenue share when it comes to the Business Central. And we actually were in that point already in April. So that shows that the trend of the growth of the Business Central is tremendous, that the opportunity is there, and that we see actually that the product is moving to the right direction when we're talking about the target audience. Lejo, I also have a slide when it comes to the comparison of the Business Central and F&O, and over there you will be having the opportunity to see exactly how we identify who are SMB customers and who are not. What I also added here for you guys is the countries where we have the localization, because as you know, in certain regions, Microsoft is delivering by itself localization, and in certain countries, which is the majority of the Central and East Europe, localization is owned by the local partners. What is very important for us, and every time when I have an opportunity to speak, I speak about this. What are the key motions with which we need to focus in order to continue with this growth path, in order to be able to actually accommodate the right target audience, in this case SMB customers, and to actually be able to grow overall business that you are having through the Business Central. High volume program, or something where it's required for you to have the properly packaged offering, which is scalable, repeatable, industry focused. We are always saying industry focused, with the minimum customization. Why industry focused? Not only because of the knowledge that you are having and expertise that you are able to share with your customers, but also internally when it comes to the partner setup and resources. If you are focused on a certain industry, then you become this becomes more repeatable for you, easier to digest, and the full process from the beginning of the negotiation to the moment when the implementation is done is much shorter. So this is one thing. P2P as something where we definitely see the connection, because let's face it, there is a huge pool of potential customers who are already modern workplace customers. The data shows that at this point, when it comes to the new customer adds in this fiscal year, over 60% are existing modern workplace customers. So from that perspective, we are encouraging our Dynamics partner to establish P2P connections with the modern workplace resellers, because at the end of the day, practice showed customer likes to stick with the partner with initially they started, but we need to also have the clear notion that at the end of the day, the certain partner is not able to deliver everything. So making the P2P connection is crucial to serve the customer properly, and that at the end of the day, customer is not wandering around searching in the different pools, and not having in sync everything that they need in order to perform properly. Migration, very important focus from you as our Dynamics partners is tremendous when it comes to this. Still, huge number of the Navision customers who are on premise and needs to be moved at certain point. Sooner is better, not only for us when we are talking about Microsoft, but for them primarily. And then I added here for you, for your reference, for each of these motions, so you can have a little better insight when we talk about the high volume model. What does it mean for you primarily as a partner? Companial here as a CSP indirect does have the ability to actually share with you also all needed information about the full program, how you can engage, because there are different models, either one-to-many, one-to-few, or one-to-one. And depending on that, how you can actually develop this part of your business, which can actually primarily influence on the fact that that you increase the customer growth, that the delivery of the project is going shorter, which again gives you capability to serve more customers, where the profit that you're earning by that scalable and repeatable model definitely brings the value to you. On the other hand, we are talking about the P2P, and there, again, we can establish certain things, like we have the indirect CSP provider, we have you as the Dynamics consulting partner, we have the Modern Workplace reseller, and how this connection can be made. Definitely, it's at the end of the day up to you. There are different variations. There are different practices all over the world. UK is very successful when it comes to this. But at the end of the day, keep in mind that on your own, you will not be able to reach out as many customers. You will not be able to do the pre-sales completely on your own. Use the fact that there are other resellers who do know their customers and do know what are their needs. And with this, somehow you are able to hunt for the new opportunities, but somebody's helping you along the way as the Dynamics partner. And then last but not least, when we are talking about migration, and then Companial will cover in that bridge to cloud promotion, keep in mind that it is active till the end of this fiscal year, that we are definitely encouraging all our partners to use the benefit of promotion as much as they can, if the customer still is not there when it comes to the cloud. But please make sure when you're opening this discussion, make sure that customer already has the next step defined, and did you help them define the next step on their cloud journey? Where is my, here. Just, this is something which is not this closely related to this one, but I thought exactly because Lejo asked the question, I think that for us all the time is valuable to make the comparison. Who is the right customer for the Business Central? Who is the right customer for F&O? And keep in mind, the size of the customer is not the one which is crucial, but the complexity of the internal process is the one who decides is the customer right for the Business Central or not. Again, practice showed, and we had unfortunately these kind of experiences as well, that the partner sells the Business Central to the customer. At the end of the day, it turns out that the product is not able to accommodate the needs of the customer. So please, for the sake of your credibility primarily, be always open to customer and share what are the restrictions when it comes to one or other product and what are the requirements, so the customer at the end of the day is completely aware and makes the choice on the right basis.
Good, Snezhana, thank you so much. I'll hold you. I'll hold you for a bit. I would like to ask a few follow-up questions. Just before that, I see that Augusta have shared the link regarding Bridge to Cloud version 2 promotion, and the small correction. We're happy that it is not getting kind of a due date. Is not this end of the fiscal year. It's end of December 2024. So there is still time, but still the time flies very fast. And my first question would be, Snezhana, then do you see still the growth pace continuing in the coming period, or
yes,
how do you?
Absolutely, and especially in our market in the Central East Europe, because we are always a little bit, let's call it, behind when it comes to when the product entered the market. So from that perspective, comparing to all other big subsidiaries worldwide, we still see, especially in the next fiscal year, that the growth path is going to continue in our region.
Okay, and also you were referring to the high volume program, which is, let's say, in practice is more switching from a project tailored type of a business more toward a prepackaged productized approach, right?
Yes.
Do you see that speeding up trend across in our territory, meaning more partners are now going towards productization than tailored approach, which was mainly the one and only business approach when it
So we do have actually successful cases of partners who actually engaged in the high volume program and have really good experience when it comes to this. Keep in mind, it doesn't require the investment if the partner is not ready for the investment, because there are options where there should be no investment but can kick off with some initial and basic stuff to actually learn from. On the other hand, what we also can do is maybe share the best practices in some partners worldwide who have these great experiences. So because when partner talks to the partner, it's completely different than when Microsoft talks to the partner, right? So we are relying actually on these practices and experiences that partners worldwide actually have by embracing this kind of model, because at the end of the day, what the practice showed, the volume of the customers which partner is bringing is actually making Business Center profitable for the partner. If the approach is completely the same as like F&O, then the partner will not see the value of the product at all.
Good. Thank you so much, Snezana, for joining and sharing the valuable insights. And with that, even I believe it's a very nice transition to Michaela from Romania, to our Alien Solutions success story. We are very curious to hear your practical transition from, let's say, more on-prem type of a business towards the cloud. So we are very curious to hear more about it. So Michaela, the floor is yours, please. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Galantas. Hello to everyone. I'm Mihaela Ivancuța. I have started actually Alien Solutions, and now I'm a programmer and technical manager at Alien. And today I try to share our experience. I was with our first customers to SaaS, and what challenges we have and how did we overcome it, and maybe some thing that you'll find today for me will be helpful also for you. First, a little bit about us, Alien Solutions. We are now a team that is measuring 42 people. We started in 2008 with 2 people. Now we are 42. We are mainly focused on implementing Business Central since we start till this moment. We actually are part of a group of companies from the BitNet group, and the structure of the group companies has areas of infrastructure, education, implementation, but also security. So if customers come to us, we are able to provide them a package of solutions, not only the ERP part. As an ERP, we have experience in different fields of implementation, retail, agribusiness, production, distribution, and different software implementation. We have pretty much a lot of experience in different areas of implementation. A little bit of statistics about us. We have a total of 180 customers in all versions of NAV or BC. Of course, on-premise, subscription, and SaaS. We discussed about all of them. From this, the number of subscription customers is 30. They pay subscription customers. Parts of them are hosted to Companial. I will talk about it a little bit later. And we have the first 5 customers in SaaS. We started a little bit later. We started just in November 22. But I think we are on the train now. We should be able to have more on board quickly. A little bit of details of these 5 customers. 2 of them are upgrades, customers that we have upgraded, and 3 are the new implementations. The number of users of these 5 customers are 105, and parts of them of the implementation are having just testing user. Will be much more in the future. New offers actually have 45% are on SaaS. Actually, all the quotation that we make are with the SaaS of subscription version. Usually, we ask customers how they want to have their codes, and they want to have it both to compare it. How is the cost on premises and how is the cost on SaaS? We always tell them that on premises has just the licensing cost, but not the infrastructure, the servers. We explain that. Next slide will be about Companial partnership. We are partners with Companial for several years. What was the best thing that we have by being partners? We have a great support from their side. Also, if we have some license issues or technical issues, the time of response is really good. When we started, but also still, we had an issue with the credit limit. We could sell more that we could pay. At that moment, Microsoft provided 3 months of due date credit limit. But sometimes there was some period when the sale was high, and we rather reach that limit very quickly. With Companion, it's an open discussion. It's a more closer approach than with Microsoft. Not complaining about Microsoft, but with Companion, the relations are more personal. You can send an email or grab a phone, and you will have a really good and quick answer and solution to your problem. What we also use frequently is the self-provisioning services. Actually, one SaaS version was not available in Romania because, as Jean said, it was launched a little bit later than the Eastern countries. This was our solution to offer, because for this much cloud promoting customer came to us and asked about cloud and subscription licensing and so on. And self-provisioning services was the best way to combine the hosting and the licensing subscription from Microsoft, and to offer a customer like a SaaS experience solutions. We have 23 customers on self-provisioning, and counting 550 users. And it's also still a good way if you want to implement Business Central, but SaaS has sometimes some limitation, and we covered later. And if you want to have the full on-premise subscription, not subscription benefits, you could have this self-provisioning and not bother about the hardware and hosting and environment side. What is also good from Companion, we have access to different training classes. Booster programs are very good. Being a partner, we can use credit limits, and it's also easy for us to not plan some extra cost to it. And also what we found, it's a very good community, the events, the webcast, also the current Companion Connect from this year and also from the last year was very interesting. For me, from the last year, I found also from the similar sharing experience about the SaaS migration from partners from Poland. That was very interesting and help us to have a better preparing for our experience. Why to go on SaaS? Usually customers, this is what we tell to the customer. This is what is for them also good to know. Of course, they stay on the last version. They have benefits of the new functionalities. Staying on the last version for customers means no extra cost or extra input from them. Not the same for a partner. We'll talk about it later because we have to check up our developments against new versions to be sure that it will run after each automatic upgrade. But for the customer, these things are invisible to them. They have always the latest version and the latest benefits. Of course, no need for infrastructure. You are not dependent on the specific versions of the software, hardware, or you don't need to sustain it and maintain it and invest any time in infrastructure. You have it already. Of course, it's scalable. You don't have to think about it if the customers expand his business and needs 20, 30 users more. You don't need to find a way to extend the RAM or CPU or other technical things. This is managed automatically by a SaaS environment. Also, the security, it's very good because you have all the built-in of Office 365 security with two-factor authentication, with any things that is new. You can also apply in authenticating in Business Central. So it's good to have also this type of security already built in and on the last terms and developments. Solutions that are already integrated and ready to use. So actually, this for customers with which we have our experience in SaaS had the CRM. Actually, the dynamic sales, the name, and they have integrated this solution, and we have to move also this integration. But it was already built-in solution. We have just to check it, test it, and extend it a little bit when we have some developments. And of course, it's also a limitation that Microsoft also announced it from 2025 on-premises license. There will be no longer available to sell. The subscription with the hosting will be still a solution for the ones that really needs to stay on-premise somehow. But purchasing licenses will not be the case from 2025. So this is a way that we prepare the customer also and tell them about this limitation, them to know what is also the near future. A little bit about the challenges that we have making this first implementation in SaaS. As I told you, it was actually an upgrade. It was an upgrade for a customer that had 15 companies, had the integration with the dynamic sales, with the CRM. And first thing that we had to do, because it was our customer, we had to put the localization in the app source. And of course, it took some time. Romanian legislation is pretty complex and the localization is pretty big. We also put in the localization up different functionalities that it's not necessarily legal, but it's good for our customers to have it. So it took a while to move and put this app compliance with the app source, with the cloud solutions. And also when you publish to app source, you have to make also some extra documentation, some testing or workflow, some code signing, and there are, besides development, publishing on app source, it takes some extra things that you have to do. So it took a while, that's why we start a little bit later. And also when adapting, of course, also localization, but also this customer, these two customers, because we are discussing about two. We have some struggling adapting the current developments because some functions are not available in the same format. So import, export files with the file management, it's no longer available in SAS. You have to move it with the new functions built in download from stream, upload to streams. If you have integration that requires HTTP calls and XML documents, .NET, it's not longer available in SAS, but for the main like HTTP and XML document, you have built-in variables, but you have to adapt a little bit the code. It's not written one-to-one. Of course, in the last version, you can modify standard code in any line that you wish. Now you have to see that you find a suitable subscriber to put your modification there, and sometimes there is not a subscriber there, but Microsoft is still launching and putting subscribers in different areas. But as a challenge, we found some situation where we have to make some workarounds around it. But we confronted it also with some obsolete tables and fields like product group and item cross-reference. It's no longer available, and you have to, I don't know, or rethink the solution or redevelop it, put it in your develop if you want to keep data and structure in the same way. And of course, you cannot extend system tables. We have a synchronization between the companies, and we check mark the companies. Company tables, system tables like company user tables are no longer extendable. So it's not impossible, but you have to find a way and rewrite code and rethink these situations. Also, when we're discussing about upgrades, because if we have a new implementation in SAS, things are going smoothly because you don't have something that you have to still work in the same way. You don't have access to SQL anymore. No integration SQL level is possible. They all have to be moved to APIs or data if you just read the data. Reporting a SQL level. We have some customers that develop specific views to interview something like this, or get data directly from SQL. This is no longer possible. You have to find other ways and solutions, like, of course, API and OData. It's the way to solve it. Of course, also at SQL level, you cannot execute store procedure in SQL. This is not available. If you discuss about automated import files, we have some EDI integration. It's not working the same as on premise. Of course, you have some solutions to it. You can have some alternative with with the document management from Microsoft, but you have to find the new solutions. And with OneDrive, it wasn't coming to my mind. What is still off the record is SOAP functions exposures. You have to change it to API. They try to standardize this. Database SAS is pretty optimized. You have actually, I put it here on challenges, but it was actually a good thing. When we have to upgrade and migrate our database to SAS, in the SQL, it was measuring 90 gigabytes. And after we uploaded to SAS, it was measuring just 25 gigabytes. So I think you know that there is a limitation of 80 gigabytes in SAS, and what is beyond this, you have to pay it. But actually, there is a pretty good optimization on the database, and because in the first place we thought that we will exceed that limit, but as I told you, it was kind of a third of less than a third of the volume. So this was a good thing to observe. And of course, in SaaS, you need to have constant connection to internet. We have some customers that are asking for on-premise because, I don't know, it's a shop floor, I don't know, in some area that the connection is not really good, and I don't know, the internet is having some flaws. The benefits to go to SaaS, of course, you have all the collaborative application already built in. Some things are built in, some things are already integrated. Like as I mentioned, CRM, but also you have Power BI and Dataverse and all the Power Platforms there are there, and the flows that you can use it or develop your own. It's really good and easy to work with somebody else that created something before. You do not have to reinvent the wheel each time. Migrating to SaaS, it's really rapid. We also had some wonderings if our 90 gigabytes database will upload over the weekend, but actually it took several hours. So it was a really good thing to notice that migrated is a smooth and easy thing to do. And of course, you can easily create some sandbox for debugging, testing, developing, and also for checking your code and apps against new releases. Because sometimes you can have in new releases different issues and problems. Actually, starting in November, we found this year a new version. The BC22 was released, and of course we have to check also our localization and also customer development to be checked against the new version. And we had some errors, and of course we solved it and so on. But actually, upgrading, being on the latest version for customer it's as it is. But for you as a partner, you actually have to make this upgrade every 6 months, at least to check it. Sometimes, if you check your warnings, because Microsoft, when it's obsoleting something, you receive some warnings before that functions or table or something like this is taken out. So if you manage also the warnings, not the errors, upgrading to the new solution, it's easier. It could be happen with no errors, yeah? But usually you have at least to allocate the time to check it. And now with 5 customers, it's easy. But maybe if you have 100 customers, with 100 developments, you'll have to check it for every 6 times to be sure that when the upgrade is planned automatically, your app doesn't get uninstalled because your customer will not be able to work. And for us as a partner, we have to find a way to transfer this cost to the partner, because it's a cost that we'll have to plan it and manage it. Of course, the solution is to standardize your app and put it on an app source and taking care just for one app. And also, Companial has some procedures, some automatic procedure that can help you to check your app against the new versions of the program and be up to date with them. But it's still a new way of making business, a new way of planning your costs and also incomes, and also upgrading to this version. Upgrading between the BC15 version to the BC22, it's a thing. Of course, you have to change something, but usually upgrading from AL versions when the development of an it's a little bit challenge, and you have to put also some cost input to it. But also Companion has a tool of upgrading. I think our colleague will explain this later. But this is the way how we'll do it. Hope that you find some information useful for the new upgrades that you have to do in the SaaS. And if you have any questions, please let me know.
Yeah, thank you, Michaela, so much. I would say it's a great inspiration. I see some round of applauses happening at the moment, virtual applauses. So it's a really perfect, practical example of a successful and succeeding partner. I definitely enjoyed the part you sharing about Companion and sharing your positive feedback. That's for sure. Also, appreciate the experience, practical experiences you shared with the others when moving to SaaS. Also, a few questions before we go. Maybe you could comment also a little bit, now, for example, looking back and considering that you as a partner started focusing towards subscription business model. Do you consider that it helped you to achieve the success and from the business and team growth perspectives? How do you find that?
Yes, I think it's a new type of business, and I think it's a really good if you have a good base of customers that are recurrent in your business. The struggle is in the first steps when you make that base of customers. But later it's easy to make your cash flow. Of course, you have to, as I told earlier, to transfer a little bit the cost to the customer, or to include it in your subscription, because this will be services that have to be included in your monthly subscription. But I think as a long term, it's a really good way to make business. Sometimes in on-premise we have some ups and downs depending on we sell or we didn't sell. Now the income on the licensing, of course, services are something else, but on the licensing is pretty stable, and it's very easy for you to make some estimation. And of course, if a customer migrates or a new customer comes, it will not have that great impact on your income. But
thank you. So thank you, Michaela, for sharing, and thank you for you and Elian as a company for the great partnership. And with that, we are ready to go and now discuss, how Companion is ready to support transitioning towards Dynamics Business Central. And it's not a secret that we have many upside potentials. And Jana was also referring to a lot of customers still being on previous versions. Therefore, I'm inviting and handing over to Arunas from our technical services team, who is leading one of the Business Central teams, basically, and will explain you more and how Companion can support you as a partners to migrate your existing customer base. With that, Arunas, please, the floor is yours.
Thank you. Thank you for having me. Actually, I really like Michaela slides about the SaaS limitations, because as a technical lead, I face these every day. So yeah. So I believe then partners or customers decides to upgrade or move to the latest Business Central, many new issues and consideration appears. So for example, for customer, what is the risk, how to make the decision, for partners, how to establish the fixed scope and how much it would cost, and how to choose the best path for the upgrade, and many more. So I believe from our perspective, one of the best answers to that could be our upgrade analyzer. So I believe you heard about that. So upgrade analyzer is the portal which is free, and it allows our partners to upload their solution. and do the get the assessment and do they receive the analysis from us. So basically, it helps to save time, and it's pretty easy to understand what are upgrade options, and it minimizes the risk. And because all the proposals are with the fixed price, and you have the plan how this upgrade could be reached. So how to use our upgrade analyzer? It's pretty easy. You need just to have the FOB file with the solution. You could upload it to our portal, and usually it takes up to 5 business days to analyze your solution. And after that, you will receive assessment with all upgrade options. And usually there are 5 upgrade options. Still, there are some clients which targeting on-prem uh, versions of the Business Central. So for that, we have 2 upgrade plans: the clean start and the full upgrade. So the full upgrade would include the data migration and also the code upgrade. And the clean start means we will migrate only the data. And for the customers which decided to go to the Business Central Online, we have 3 options. So the same clean start, where the target is BC Online, the standard full upgrade, and the third option is more interesting because it's like the mixed, like the phase transition. So the first phase, left phase, it means that the solution would be upgraded to the latest Business Central on premise, and this version could be stored, let's say, on our self-provisioning platform, and your customer could benefit from all the cloud benefits, almost all. And and in the meantime, you could start working on the limitations. As Michaela told, there are some limitations. Let's say SQL database functionality on the SQL database, some SQL integrations not covered by or not having the replacement by the standard Business Central. So these could be solved during that time, but in the meantime, your customer could use this the latest Business Central functionality, get used to it. Maybe I don't know, learning users with the new functionality and so on. And after some time, let's say after you have solved all your solution limitations, or you have received requested publishers. By the way, this plan has this included in the scope, requesting missing standard publishers. As Michaela mentioned, there are not enough publishers in the standard in the standard Business Central. So we would do that for you. And after we receive all the requests, uh, all the requests would be approved by Microsoft, and it will appear in the latest Business Central. It would be great time to upgrade to the latest Business Central Online. So the second step shift would be upgrade from the on-premise to the Business Cloud, Business Central Cloud. So yeah, these are 5 options. With each plan on the portal, you could go into the details. You would have some options. You could increase, let's say, warranty. You could order new additional services. Uh, for example, Michaela told about the uh, challenges. Then Microsoft updates each time Business Central online solution, and they need to adjust or review their solutions that it won't break in the future. So there is additional service from us where it is called app maintenance, the subscription service, where we would take care of these small adjustments, and it could be an optional service. So um, yeah, I would recommend to try our portal, and yeah, probably that's it.
Arunas, before you leave and before we move to Ronald, I'm curious to know which of the options, let's say now, is the most trending one from the upgrade perspective. Can you
Yeah,
share?
so for most complex solutions, we would recommend to choose this lift and shift option because it allows us to upgrade the solution to the business central, but also requests some new publishers from the Microsoft. So from my experience, it takes 3-4 months to receive approvals from the Microsoft that yes, we will add these required publishers to our standard, and in the future, after few releases or after a few cumulative releases, I mean, you will have these publishers, and we and it would allow us to implement all the functionality. I mean, changes in the base application. So yeah, but for the small solutions, I would recommend just to go straight to the cloud because the limitations would be uh, very limited. So yeah, it depends on the solution. That's why this analyzer would show you how complex your solution is, and usually we could have even the calls to go to the details of these suggestions and discuss with our partners what is the best choice for you and your customer.
And also, so you just mentioned the discussion with the partner. So when they
Mhm,
use our upgrade analyzer tool and portal, do the
mhm.
partners know exactly what is upgradable and maybe some of the areas which are not upgradable? Do they get such type of information from us?
Yeah, so after well, there is possibility to order a scoping workshop where we overview the solution in the details. I mean, we are conducting it even before the project, and after that, some customers or partners have the exact idea what's going on only then. So probably it's not worth to hurry and choose one of the plans. We could start from the workshop, and after that we could choose the best option for us.
So that helps just to build the confidence and to
Yeah,
really
yeah,
understand, know exactly and estimate precisely the full effort required in order to have
yeah,
same functionality as customer once they are upgraded, right?
yes, that's true.
Cool. Thank you so much. I don't see really any questions. I only see
Mhm.
Augusta sharing a downloadable regarding upgrade options and strategies from our side. So anybody who wants to investigate it more, feel free to download that or reach out to us. So thank you, Arunas, for tuning in and sharing the upgrade options. Now we are going to move to Ronald. And you earlier heard from Alien Solutions and Michaela about our hosting. And Ronald has some also. So he will talk and walk you through hosting. And also, I believe he has a small surprise to share how easy it is and demonstrate. He will demonstrate you something. So, not stealing the thunder from you, Ronald. So, giving the floor to you to continue. Thank you.
Yes, thank you, Gemantas. And thank you for stealing a little bit of my thunder. But and it's always tricky to do a demo during a live session. But the challenge is accepted for me at least. Yeah, my name is Ronald. I am supporting all the regions inside of Companial by supporting and help them with the partner journey. And one of the biggest thing right now is the transition and the migration to cloud, and we offer as a temporary solution but also as a longer version we can offer an hosting solution. I don't know why I don't have any control now. Let me check. For some reason my
No worries. Take your time.
you see the slide now?
Yes, we do.
Okay, sorry. I don't know what happened, but you see my slide. That's the most important thing.
It's the agenda slide right
Yeah.
now.
Yeah, thank you.
First one.
I don't walk you through the agenda, and I can also skip some slides because Michaela from Elion already explained a lot regarding our hosting service. So I think we can skip a lot, but I will stand a little bit longer still on a couple of slides, and this is the first one. What is our self-provisioning service in a nutshell? It's an automated platform which is 24/7 available on a highly and secured and scalable base where you can deploy easily and manage easily end customers on NAV and Business Central. And last year, and I will share an example with you. Last year, a new partner started using our self-provisioning service because they were independent of one single person at an IT company. And that person, sometimes he is busy in projects, or he is on holiday, sometimes he's even sick, how can you imagine? But each time when they want to deploy an NAV or Business Central environment, it will roughly cost 3 to 4 weeks before that person could start. So not only that one single person was mainly a risk for the business of the partner, but also the duration that they need to wait to implement their new environment was also quite a risk, because then they will lose 3 or 4 weeks already to invoice towards an end customer. So at that time they decided to move and make use of our platform, and now they can deploy on every moment a day, on every moment a weekend, on Friday night, on Monday morning, whenever they need to set up an environment, they can do without any waiting time. So that's just one story. We have a lot of reference stories to tell and to share with you. And a reference story in Germany, a reference story in Italy, a reference story in Belgium. The links are in this presentation, but I think we already heard the best reference story. That was Michaela from Elion. So I don't want to waste too much time on all those reference stories and also those examples. Looking to some numbers which I want to share with you. Currently we have more than 25,000 daily users on our platform, and we have more than 146 partners 164 partners who are using our platform currently, and the biggest end customer has an install base of 648 end users. And more or less the average margin which a partner is earning on top of the partner pricing is 31%. So also the numbers which I will show you later in my presentation are partner prices, and on top of that you can earn some money. You can do a markup on top of that. So like Michaela also said, it's good for your cash flow, it's good for your subscription model, it's good also for the value of your company as a partner to have a nice installed base on a subscription model. And you see here the number of growing end customer month over month, year over year on our platform. And maybe you think, yeah, but why do we still offer a solution for on-prem? And here you see some technical reasons. And again, Michaela already explained a lot of those reasons. So I will skip this slide for now. But is hosting still relevant for you as a partner? And yeah, of course, it's in our interest that the answer is yes, but I will explain why. Some partners are still not ready. Hey, We heard that already, because they cannot beat the speed of the major or minor releases. They want to have control of those releases. Their add-on is not ready. They are insecure about the maintenance, and also their organization is insecure to keep up the space and also the pressure to perform during each major or minor release. Maybe an end customer is not ready yet. For example, there's no localization in a specific country yet, but here it comes. And maybe this is the question which I heard it the most during the last couple months, and that is, are you not competing with Business Central SaaS, or maybe are you competing with Business Central SaaS? And the answer is no, we don't compete with Business Central SaaS, because it's a complete different storyline. If you have an on-prem customer and you want to SaaS, and in between we offer the hosted environment, what is mainly act as a SaaS environment and is feeling as a SaaS environment. And it can be used as an intermediate step. It can be used for a longer period if you have end customers in a certain verticalization, for example in the healthcare industry. They don't move that fast, and even if they have specific requirements, for example they need a VPN connection towards the environment, then they won't move on very short term. But again, if you are a partner with a SaaS only strategy, then also our hosting service could be an option, because if you have, in case of Elion, they currently have 170 end customers, and maybe they want to move them all towards Business Central SaaS, but they cannot move all those customers in just 1 year, or maybe even 1.5 years. So you don't want to lose your end customers, and maybe you can migrate 20-30% of those customers this year, 20-30% in upcoming year. But what is your plan? What is your strategy with the rest of them? And that is quite a big thing right now if you take a look to the competition. I have worked for a local ERP hero in the Netherlands, Exact, and also I know the battle card of SAP. I know the battle card of Sage, and there is one thing on all those battle cards what is in common with each other, and that is that Microsoft don't offer a clear strategy to the cloud. And then the value for you as a partner will come in place, because you can give them a clear journey to the cloud. And for us as Companial, we support you no matter which journey you will take, because the cloud, of course, is the end goal. And if you take the stair on the left hand side to the public cloud, the stair on the right hand side via hosting, if you want to do it by yourself on Azure, we are okay. We are there to support you, but start with that conversation with your end customer, because if you don't have that conversation with your end customer, then the competitor will do it, and they have a clear strategy. They will use all the things that are in place on those battle cards, and in the end, you never will hear anything from your end customer, maybe in cancellation, but you need to be prepared for that. Okay, and then, oh, that was too fast. Sorry for that. And then maybe my favorite slide, because our hosting service is also named as self-provisioning service. And I already shared with you, if you are a quite experienced partner and you need to take all the steps which is on the left hand side, it will cost you quite a few hours to set it up. You see it in the middle. It is roughly 10 hours if you do it several times a month to set up all these things on the left hand side. So you need to prepare the SQL server, the infrastructure, you need to configure maybe the Office 365 single sign on, you need to configure backups, monitoring, etc, etc. And if you are not that experienced with that, then at least it will cost you 50 hours each time to do a setup. And then what about the monitoring? How do you maintain the environment? What about the invoicing? Do you calculate the price per user per month? What, by the way, we can do. Because on our service, we know already upfront the cost which we're going to invoice you as a partner. But the big USP from our platform is that you can do it in just 5 minutes because we have automated all these steps in the background. And I want to show you that via my screen. So please, Gemantas, if I have shared my screen, the right screen at least, could you please let me know if you can see it? You see probably my dashboard now.
It's loading. Yes, we see the dashboard right now.
Right. Now I've logged in into the self-provisioning portal, and the name it is all in here. So here I can do and I can provision a new installation. We have the dashboard with all the previous but also the upcoming invoices. So it is June 15 and now I already know what the costs are, the potential costs are for me as a partner for July. If you need to do that, for example, by yourself on Asia, you know not always upfront what the costs are because they you get invoiced afterwards. I don't walk through all the features and all the things that we have here. On the left hand side we have a menu, but I will deploy a new environment. At least I will guide you through that environment because it's a very easy and understandable widget. And after pressing create, over here I need to select the version, the major version. We as Companial support NAV 2015 and onwards on our self-provisioning portal. So you can even bring old customers. You can also start from scratch, but you even can migrate older customers already. If I choose here for BC20, I press choose here for single tenant, and I create a new server, and I will name it BC20 content update 5. I don't know. Then here I have the a choice which I can make, and I will explain that in when I switch back to my PowerPoint. And that is sandbox, private, shared, or dedicated. A sandbox is of course for testing purposes, for development, for acceptance, etc. And private shared is private for you as a partner, but some components are shared between end customers. And dedicated is dedicated for you as a partner and dedicated for one specific end customer. And if I choose for dedicated server, so it's dedicated for one specific end customer, you as a partner can choose the right server size, maybe based on the specs which an end customer has, maybe as part of your conversation, but you as a partner can choose the right server size. If you choose for the private chat, again, private for you as a partner, but some components are shared between your end customers. You see that the server size is managed by us. So you don't need to bother about the server size. That's cool, right? And if an end customer still is complaining about, hey, the performance is not what I had expected of this service, then we will put more gigs, more RAM, more CPU on that server. But before you know, we already have done that because we will monitor the size of that server for you. So for a fixed price per user per month, and it's part of our service, we will do that for you. Here you select the cumulative update. In this example, I choose cumulative update 5, and here you can select the data center region. So we support all these data centers for now in all those countries, and they are all Microsoft Azure data centers. So next to the Business Central stack in the data center, there's our hosting service. And based on your choice here, for example, for now I will choose for West Europe. It's in Amsterdam. It's close by, so that's the most common choice for me in this occasion when I want to set up an end customer in the Netherlands. Then I can also assure that end customer that the data don't leave the Netherlands.
Also, maybe if I may jump in here for a second, because we recently had few occasions where a CSP partner came to us asking that, oh, we want to sell to our, let's say, branch to one of our customers in LATAM. So the issue they faced is that they are not authorized to sell SaaS licenses there. Therefore, they selected to go with a hosting option, because hosting option and on perpetual licenses are not tied to any location, so they can run the service worldwide. And they chose us as a hosting platform as well. They did not allow the customer to leave anywhere from them. So also such type of options might occur, that, and then maybe hosting option is more suitable than CSP option as such.
Yeah, here you go. Thank you for this example, Gemaltes. I think again an example how you can secure your base, because if you don't obtain that option towards that end customer, maybe you will lose that end customer. So again, please start that conversation. After the upload of the backup, or you can start from scratch, and after uploading the license file, you can choose here for Office 365 single sign-on, so we can create a connection with the Office 365 tenant of the end customer, and if they have deployed two-factor authentication, yeah, it's part of the login for Business Central and/or NAV as well. Or you can choose for the classic method. And by choosing for the classic method, you can fill in the email address, your first name, last name as an authentication type, etc. If you've done that, you can select here, you can name the end customer. So you make sure that the name is spelled right. Sorry for that. But then at least you will receive the right invoice for the right server, which you can invoice further towards that end customer. You fill in your own email address here. Press inform me when finished. You press on create, and after 30 to 40 minutes, the server is ready for you as a partner to do your magic, to install your extensions, to make sure that the third-party applications are working as well. So that's more or less how you can set up in just 5 minutes an environment via our portal. And you can do a lot more. Here I have a button for the advanced settings, so you can open up ports, you can create an OData connection, you can do monitoring, you can create alerts out of the box. We give you some alerts for free, of course. You are fully in control of the backups. So you are the pilot, and you can do whatever you want to do. And if you are a partner and you are a developer, or maybe you are a consultant and you want to open up an environment, you can easily do that via logging in the portal. You press the web client, and if everything still works as it should be, then it will open up a browser where I can log in. And now it will start the environment as right from our portal, and I can do my work as a consultant or as a developer over here. Also, a nice feature here is that I can move this BC environment. So this is the other environment. This BC environment, it's in BC 14 or 15, if I recall it correctly. I can move it directly and migrate directly from 14 or 15 to, for example, BC 20, just with a single click on this button. So that is very easy and it's understandable to do. In our documents section over here, we have written down everything. It's an ISO 27001 certificate platform. So everything is written down in procedures, how we act with data, what is our SLA, which is, by the way, also an uptime guarantee of 99.9%. We even give you a template which you can offer towards end customers, and so on and so on. And also the most downloadable document from our portal, that is the FAQ. So I will stop sharing. I think I had 3 or 4 more slides, but more or less I have covered everything what was in my slides by this demo. Maybe one last thing, because you are part of our community, you're part of our as a Companial membership, we offer you an 1 month free of trial, so you can feel it, you can play around to have a better understanding, and that's including a 2-hour workshop, a more technical workshop, how you can host and secure your end customers on a highly and nice environment. So basically, that's it from my side.
Thank you, Ronald. Thank you so much. I'll ask Augusta maybe just to screen the slides once more. And with that, we are moving to Herman.
Yes.
And Herman is going to talk also and introduce a little bit more how we as a Companial can help you as a solution provider to grow your competency as a partner and improve the readiness and upskilling of your Business Central professionals. With that, Herman, you can take it over. I see you are in full control. Happy to see you. And go ahead.
I'm
Looking
in control,
forward
so I can navigate, right? So thank you, Germantas, actually to have me in the agenda. I'm Herman. I'm one of the originators of QBS, so I'm long with the company. And actually, my job is actually doing the development on new strategic initiatives. And one of the initiatives we actually started by the beginning of this year are the so-called learning journeys. And Milena, your name has passed many, many times. And also, I will use you once again because you are really familiar with our Business Central boosters. And we really thought that there is something missing. And I will explain you actually why. So let's start actually with the why. Let's go to the why, because today we are talking about cloud strategies, digital transformation, all kind of ways to move to the cloud. And actually, if you look to all these strategies, it actually comes down to one. If you want to be successful in the cloud, or even if you want to be successful with Business Central, if you want to increase your revenue, you have to invest in experts. There is no other way. So if you want to do more projects, if you want to do better projects, there is no other way. You have to invest in these experts. And there are not too many experts left because, well, the majority of our partners, they are really suffering of lack of experts because, well, the pond we are all fishing in is actually always the same pond. So it's currently actually very hard to actually get the right experts. And well, I was a developer actually myself 25 years ago. I started as a developer, and when I left actually NAV 3.7, it was actually very easy because what I could do, I went to the customer, installed Navision on the server locally, and then do some customization, and then I was more or less gone. And I still customers out there which still runs with the same installation which I installed actually, well, 10 years, 15 years ago. And that's actually not, well, the situation of today, because, well, I could easily upgrade my knowledge and skills once a year. When there was a new version of Navision, I went to the directions, gathered all the information, and I was actually ready to go. But today, that's not the story, as we all know, because we saw all these new products, Power Platform, CE, new DevOps, continuous delivery. So actually, if you want to stay an expert in our field, you will actually have to continuously invest actually in your knowledge. And continuous means actually that you, as an employer, that you actually have to invest in the complete life cycle. So not just only in the development. No, actually, you also want to make sure that the people you have, that they stay with you, and that you are also an attractive company to recruit. So actually, if you want to invest in your experts, you have to invest actually in the complete employee life cycle. And this was not invented by Companial, employee life cycle. It's a very common term, but it actually starts, well, you understand, from the attraction, then in the recruit phase. And once you find a good candidate, you start the onboarding, which is very critical, because we know that people during the onboarding phase already get the right taste of your company. And actually, if you don't do proper onboarding, they will leave you with you really in 1 month. So all your investment is really gone. Then in the retention, you want to make sure that they stay with you, but they also have the right skill sets actually to serve your customers as an expert. And of course, every employee also wants to develop itself. So they also want to, well, upskill, explore new technologies, make sure that they add value, because every expert in our ecosystem, they want to add value. And even if they leave your company, you must make sure that they leave as an ambassador. If they are retired or go to another company, make sure that they leave as an ambassador, because then they can help you with attraction. So if you make sure that you show that your company is investing in actually employee development and learning, then, well, the retention rate will go up. So they will, well, probably has less reasons actually to leave your company. So how can we do it? Well, first, let's start in the top. Attraction. You have to position yourself as the employer of choice. Because, well, most of your resellers will come, or most of your resources will come from the same pot. So you have to promote yourself as the employer of choice. And then in the recruitment phase, you should actually state out that learning is important within your company, that there is some kind of a learning culture. And this will also give the candidates also the good feeling to actually to join your company. And once they are joined your company, make sure that you directly already show off that learning is actually embedded in your organization. So directly make sure that they are onboarded on the so-called learning journeys, which I'll explain you later, but they directly have access to actually improve their knowledge and skills. And actually, they want to improve their knowledge and skills, but they also want to make sure that they directly can use it, because, well, you know, these long trainings, sometimes I started with Baan, ERP company. My first training was 1 year. I never saw a customer, and I never could actually put all the things I've learned directly into practice. So you also want to make sure that what they've learned, that they directly can use it in their daily practice. And of course, the development. People, they want to actually train on their own pace, but also explore new ideas, new tools, new ways. So make sure that that you create an environment where they also can do some self-skill development. And then, as stated in the beginning, make sure that they leave as an ambassador. And, well, we have some experienced partners here in the call. And we based everything on the so-called Business Central boosters. Already 2,000 students in the world have followed these Business Central boosters. And actually, we have added components around these, well, proven Business Central boosters, actually to support all these stages, because the boosters from Natural are actually ad hoc training, and you can consume whenever you want, but it's not really supporting the employee life cycle. So what we have created is actually twofold. So for the bottom part of the learning journeys, we have created the so-called EVP toolkit. And as stated, I was a developer myself. I have never heard of EVP, but EVP stands for Employee Valuation Proposition. So we have created that toolkit actually to help our partners in the top phases of the employee life cycle, so the separation, attraction, and recruit. And we'll dive into the details a little bit later. And then the learning journeys, which is, as stated, based on the Business Central boosters, but it's actually offering a single point of learning, but it is also completely guided. So it's not an all-you-can-eat restaurant. No, at the moment you are boarded actually in the learning journey, there is a fixed sequence what you will learn. And that gives a lot of benefits. The first benefit is, as a manager, you can always track which knowledge is consumed and which knowledge can be put into practice, because we give points, and based on this point you will see that you see what is consumed. Secondly, it also gives direct practical tasks which can be used in the day-to-day job. So it's not that when you started the learning journey, you have to be there for months before you can put it into practice. No, it's actually based on really practical cases, which actually can put into the daily lifetime actually directly. And then on the development side, it's actually an online learning, but also with instructor-led sessions. So students in the learning journeys, they can do everything on their own pace, but it can still be followed. So we know exactly what they've learned, and they also have an instructor at their fingertips. And our instructors, most of them are MVPs, so they have access to, well, I think one of the best of the world. So let's dive a little bit into these two areas. So the EVP toolkit, it's actually helping you to promote you as the employer of choice with all kind of tooling. So we have examples of social media posts, we have a manual, and we have actually a complete run book actually to promote your company towards new hires, but also to your existing employees, so that they also see the value of your company and that you show off the value of your company also to your internal employees. So it looks a little bit like this. You can just copy and paste it, put your own flavor on it, put your own logo, your own look and feel, but it's actually more or less a guideline actually to promote your company towards, well, internal and external resources. And then actually the learning journeys, because we get many questions about, well, Herman, what's actually the difference between the learning journeys and actually the boosters? Well, the boosters are actually tactical. So it's actually more or less a one-off. So you need somebody, you have a resource who needs to update his skills actually on Power BI or something, and then you just send them to a Power BI booster program or to a Business Central booster program. So it's actually, yeah, one-off. And it's actually, well, you follow this course for a certain period of time, and then you have the knowledge. The learning journey is actually strategic. So the learning journey is also quite of an insurance, actually, because it's very important actually to focus on retaining or recruit and retain on your resources. So learning journeys is actually a strategic decision because it's actually supporting continuous improvement, and it's actually about absorbing knowledge instead of communicating, because it's, as I stated, it's bi-directional. We have a lot of interaction with instructors, so it's actually a way of, well, more or less a partnership in learning. And actually it's integrated into your day-to-day tasks, because a learning journey is actually always available. You know where you are in the journey, you know what your next task will be, and you also know your destination. There is no end destination, so the learning journey is not moving from A to B, and I will show it to you later, but it is actually continuous. It's a continuous learning. Just to give you an example, recently we already added the so-called AL Go, so you know it helps you AL in DevOps. So actually we are actually adding continuously new content to make the learning journey, well, applicable to everybody, but also make sure that you will have the best experts on BC in the field. So As stated, it's actually dynamic. We have several tracks. We have a track for consultants, we have a track for developers, we have for new hires, but also for experience. So everybody in your company, consultants, developers, actually can join these learning journeys. As stated, it's always available, it's online, and we have these webinars where you can join, and if you can't join, then you can still watch the recording, but these the webinars are repeated, so if you can't make it on time, then there will be always an extra option to follow this instructor-led training. And as stated, the program will be constantly updated and added. And for the ones who don't know, the learning journeys are based on the Business Central boosters. And the boosters are actually developed by Platan. And maybe it's familiar to you, that name. Platan is also developing all the content which you find on Microsoft Learn for Microsoft. So all the content for Microsoft Learn on Business Central is actually developed by Platan. So the Business Central booster is actually combining everything. So Learn, Microsoft Learn, instructor-led training, instructors at your fingertips, but then all in a sequence. And I know these fonts are very small, but maybe Augusta, you can put it in the chat box, the link to the learning journeys. We have this great website. It's completely interactive, so you can see, just click on one of these rockets or one on these instructor-led webinars, and then you see all the details. At the end of this month, we will also communicate that we also add the PL600, which is actually the advanced one, the advanced track to actually reach your final destination in MCPP. So in the learning journeys, you will have the MB800 training, you have the PL200 training, and at the end of this month, we also add the PL600 training. So actually the learning journeys are covering all the necessary knowledge actually to get the right certifications to reach your solution destination within MCPP. And now the good thing. Because it's a journey, we thought that it should be available to all our partner community. So we know, for instance, if you have a new hire and you will order everything which is needed actually as a booster, the price can come up to actually 10,000 euros on separate training. And we think that we are here actually to drive our ecosystem and make it grow and help you to be successful. So what we did, we put everything in a different pricing model. And before I go to that, I will show you a little bit about what will happen as you are boarding. Once you have actually ordered the learning journeys, which is a subscription-based model, you will receive a number of seats. And for the ones who were in the old days, when we sold Navision in the past, we were selling concurrent users. And actually, well, we more or less copied that old-fashioned way of thinking, but in this case it works perfectly. You actually buy seats, which are actually concurrent users. So you buy, in this case, 10 seats, and these 10 seats you can decide who is actually consuming these seats within your company. So you can add a new hire, you can add a senior consultant, and you can even change the seats. So if the new hire is, well, unfortunately not, hopefully not, leaving your company, then your seat is free for another one. So you buy a fixed set of seats, and then you receive a manager dashboard, and you can decide who can consume that seat. And of course, you can also track the progress. So as a manager, in this case, I am a developer, and my progress is currently 3%, but you can also see that I didn't sign up for one of the sessions around the financial essentials. So as a manager, you can keep track of the progress of your student. And as a student, well, you have more or less the same dashboard. You see all the different boosters, and within the booster program, you will receive points. And Medina, I'm not sure if you are aware of how this all works, but maybe if you are experienced with the Business Central boosters, you know that it's a fixed sequence, and you receive receive points. Do you have anything you would like to share, Milena?
Yes, it is interesting that you cannot move forward till you don't understand the parts that you. So the progress is really interesting, because you tend to skip parts and get to the, I don't know, the one that you want. But this is okay that it goes through all the processing and it assures that you've gone through all the documentation and has also some assessments to be sure that you understand something about it. I think it's a good tool to train, to auto-train, actually.
Yeah, thank you. So yeah, that's actually important. You can't skip. And the reason behind this is that we want to understand what you have learned. And of course, there are some exams also at the past. So not the official exams of Microsoft, but we have some exams. And during these exams, you receive points. So the manager always knows where you are in the journey, but also knows which content you have consumed. And if you have understand it, because if you don't understand it, then you have to repeat, well, and we will make sure that you have understand it and that you can bring it into practice. So yeah, the community award last year on Ameo has been won by the Business Central Boosters, and we are actually very proud that we have these Business Central Boosters in our learning journey. So about the pricing, as said, it works with so-called seats or concurrent users. You can also call it concurrent users. And actually, it's a fixed set of seats. So you have the possibility to start actually with a single seat. But if you think, well, this is really good for my company, then you buy 10 seats, which is actually, you can call it a classroom of 10 seats. And you decide who's consuming that seat. If the classroom is too small, then you buy or some extra single seats, or you go to the 20-seat package. And you see these small figures. More than 5, more than 13, more than 23. Well, that's actually the turn point, because if you want to buy more, or if you need more than 5 seats, it's better to buy the 10-seat pack. Well, you understand the principle. But let's look at the pricing. Yeah, the pricing is, let's go to the most popular one, the 10-seater. It's 83 euros per month per employee. And it's actually, well, people tend to say it's less than a cup of coffee. It really depends where you are in Europe. But here in the Netherlands, I can say a cup of coffee is even more than the €2.72. So the contract period is 1 year. So you buy the seats for 1 year. As stated, you can exchange the seats among your colleagues. And we have created a cancellation period. So if you sign up, and you are thinking, well, after a few days or a few weeks, well, this is not for me right now, or this is not right for me, then you can cancel in the first 30 days, and then we will credit your first invoice, and then you don't spend anything. Any questions around this? I don't see them in the chat box. No. Germantas, you want to say something?
No, go ahead.
No.
Go ahead.
So there are many studies. Just Google it yourself or Bing it yourself. But what you see is if you are investing in a learning culture, that retention rates will go up. So your experts will stay with your company. And you can think of, well, 80 euros a month is maybe an investment, but even if they are never, ever using the seats, it's still you are showing off as a company to your expert that learning is important to your company. And that's actually my last call to action. Create this learning journey. Make sure that you are positioned as the employer. Make sure that from the very beginning they see that you have a learning culture, and let's promote actually that complete learning culture within your company to make sure that you have these experts on your fingertips. That was actually it. Well, it's already shared by my dear colleague Augusta in the chat box, but we have created this, I think, of the best web page of Companial now. So cheers, Augusta. Sign up, log in. You can directly add students and use the EVP toolkit. And well, thank you for your time and attention.
Thank you, Herman, so much for walking us through on learning journeys. With that, I'm taking over the control, and yes, let me see how to navigate you further. Good. And I'm going to talk a little bit more, and just before closing this webinar, around the context where we are when it comes to you as a partners and us as Companial as well, supporting the partner ecosystem of business applications on Business Central online workload. So let's jump into it. So basically, we are in a situation where many things are happening at once, and it is easy to get lost. Therefore, we need to select, and you as a partners are always and constantly looking where to put the focus on, and understanding and looking to understand what is important and what is less important. So updated Microsoft partnership program is for sure one of the things where you must to focus in order to continue successfully towards business and kind of keep the focus and keep the pace together with Microsoft strategy. As well, on top of that, to remain competent and showcase your competency towards your end customers. So change is based, and this change from MPN, old legacy, silver and gold competencies towards 6 solution designations are based on cloud and subscription business model. So basically, you are in one way or the other way forced to step into more subscription type of a business instead of a perpetual licensing model. So, and the transitioning task is not easy, definitely. It takes serious amount of effort, and it is definitely a big mistake if you don't maintain your solution designation and do not transition to the newest competency model. And I'll talk about why in a bit. So, moreover, as I said already, the solution designation topic is not easy. Therefore, we recommend to plan. You see that there are a lot of complexity and a lot of things you need to deliver, and a lot of things you need to perform on top of. The good thing is that an update that recently thresholds were minimized and the bar was lowered a bit. Therefore, many partners were able to successfully exceed the requirement of 70 points to qualify for the solution designation. But the most important part, not going into each of the area, is there that basically we offer and support. And if you need any type of support to realize where you are, how to proceed further, I'm emphasizing and encouraging you to reach out to us, and we'll be able to walk you through on this change. And despite it is not so easy, there is also upsides what is available towards and together with the solution designation. One of them is internal use rights. So business, and if you acquire business application solution designation, you will get a big chunk of internal use rights, which was not previously available, together with multiple sandboxes, with M365 licenses, and so on. It is really an improvement versus silver gold competencies, I would say. And at the same time, it will allow you to implement internally a production environment of BC, as an example, in order to use SaaS version internally and lead by example towards your customers, which we very much encourage to do. So if you need to summarize what's changing, can you continue as a Microsoft partner if you, after October 20, after this upcoming October, basically, yes, you can. You are able to continue as a Microsoft partner. You are able to continue as sell on-prem licenses, also cloud licenses, also go to app source. When it comes to internal use rights, there will remain only some availability on under the action pack only. And but the most important part, and why I was emphasizing the change in this domain, is that you will lose, most probably, you will lose the availability to get incentives. So meaning your margin will be affected when selling SaaS licenses. And that margin can be a big difference between the partners getting the incentive and not getting the incentive. So competitive environment and your availability to compete with other partners who are already a bit of maybe ahead of you can kind of be a hurtful thing. So therefore, it's super important for you to put the focus here and make sure that you are going through with the changes. So next steps, as I mentioned, calling out, check your progress, see where you are, plan it accordingly, stay tuned for the updates, and if any update, any support is needed, go ahead, reach out to us for further assistance. Going forward, now we finished with solution designations. Now, what else is happening? So one of the and many changes will take effect quite soon and in the nearest future when it comes to on-prem licenses. First of all, we encourage to push forward any net new sales or net new license sales under perpetual licensing. As of October this year, some price differences and price increases will happen. So if you're selling under Euro price list, the prices are going to increase by 11%. Second thing, unavoidable enhancement plan rate is increasing from 17% to 18%. So that already increased from 16% at some period earlier, but this is also with any customers maintaining their BREP. The BREP after October 1st will be not 17% anymore, but 18%. So make sure that you are aware, make sure that you upfront notice the partners and upfront notice your end customers, right? Moreover, the licensing for on-prem subscription is a little bit changing, not changing, it will remain available, but at the same time, the discount for on-prem subscription BC licenses, it will be lowered gradually, step by step. Therefore, the SaaS licenses also as an option will become more and more attractive or more affordable compared to on-premises, so the difference will decrease. And last but not least, alert, April 2025 is end of on-prem perpetual licenses. Business Central on-prem perpetual licenses will not be available anymore. So the only way how to still you will be able to sell on-prem licenses, it will for the Business Central would be remaining under subscription, on-prem subscription model, or of course SaaS model with dual rights. So definitely worth noticing this, and this is a big change. So we encourage start moving towards subscription model as soon as possible, not wait until last day. Go with SaaS, go with subscription, go with hosting. So those are our action points we encourage you to go forward with. So, okay, we talked about on-premises and how can you go and reach solution designation, maintain your existing customer base, and help them to go towards the SaaS. So the best option, which is currently there and will still remain for a while until end of 2024, is the Bridge to Cloud version 2 promotion. With that, you can move your customers. They will have a fixed price for a 40% discount. The threshold is the same annual enhancement price value as to maintain throughout the year, and this is the best option to go. Why I'm saying this is the best option? Because also this is recognized as cloud revenue. Therefore, you can collect points towards requirements for solution designation. And at the same time, you are still eligible to earn incentives under this one. So compare how much you can earn from BREP and renewing the BREPs, which is, let's say, on average 18%, maybe, let's take an average, versus this promotion where you can earn almost 60% of incentive together with your CSP margin, because CSP margin has roughly around 30%, and on top, almost 30% more of incentives is available. Not 30, a little bit less than 30, but I'll get to the incentives part in a bit to say what is available in the cloud licenses. And if you didn't know, I just sharing a reminder that you can transact CSP licenses. You can use Bridge to Cloud version 2 towards your end customers through Companial. We are there to support you. We have multiple advantages as well on top, gifts or benefits what we offer if you transact through Companial, the Bridge to Cloud promotion. And the benefits are that you are eligible to earn and get a free of charge CL to extension analyzer report. And moreover, once you go live, we even offer 6 months free of charge extension maintenance for that existing customer who goes to SaaS and which licenses you purchased for this promotion through Companial. So those benefits, and I will maybe elaborate or just share the slide so you have as a record how CEL to extension report can help you and to plan accordingly and plan more precise migrations with a reduced effort, and this is fully available for you to utilize. You'll get the full report, not only the overview, but the full report with complete Excel file. So therefore, I'm encouraging you to consider that as a option and as a benefit when working with Companion. Last but not least, related to the Bridge to Cloud promotion, we do have even a calculator which is very friendly to use, even as an order form. So you can calculate how many licenses you need as a minimum, how many licenses maybe you will be ordering then to qualify towards the benchmark if you are able to get some free of charge users, which conditions of Bridge to Cloud's version 2 promotion has inside of it. Also, Augusta previously shared the full story and the full details in the link, which you can download the report in order to follow up how to utilize the Bridge to Cloud calculator in the best possible way. Now I talked that about the incentives and the margin. So this is important to notice that so far until October 2023, so by end of September, you still are eligible to earn incentives based on the old competency model or solution designation. So one or the other. We more or less are already informed by Microsoft that starting from October 1st, only solution designation will be eligible as eligibility criteria there in order to earn incentives. And for example, for reselling Business Central, you currently are earning a core of Biz Apps 4.75% plus a tier 1 accelerator for BC, so it adds up to almost 10%. And moreover, during the first year, if you sell cloud licenses for that customer who didn't have those business application licenses before under their tenant, you are earning during the first year period extra 20%. So if you add up, you can for a BC transaction earn almost 30% of incentive plus the margin you are getting for reselling. So it adds up to a quite substantial amount, and it's times more what you can earn if you are staying reselling perpetual enhancement plan under perpetual licensing model. So that's why I am saying it is super important to follow and maintain solution designation. So just to recap, short time frame, how it looks like and why those things are important. So as you see, Bridge to Cloud promotion is expiring December 2024. And then solution designation and incentives are continuing under the solution designation only. Therefore, we really encourage to follow as much as possible solution designation model as long as you have Bridge to Cloud version 2 promo available in order to proceed. That's the easiest path and easiest way how you can really earn if you are just at the beginning. Good. And just to summarize, a few more things. So at the pace of the change is becoming crazy itself, right? So it is really super complicated to stay on top of the things on your own. Therefore, we at the Companion, we firmly believe that it is super important to build a community around you, a support network, which you can rely on to get the support from. So we are inviting you not to stop and not to look into passing by trains. You can onboard to the cloud journey together with Companion easily. Otherwise, you do risk not adapting to the change, and the distance between and up to speed partners will only increase, and it will become very difficult to catch up. Therefore, the action point and we definitely encourage you to take this action point. The first step, just simply schedule a call with us if you need any further support. Schedule a call to follow through how can Companial support in your business growth. With that, that's pretty much it. I'm super excited and super happy that you spent so much time together with us during the call. Thank you to all the speakers. Thank you to all attendees for turning up. And I wish you nice of the rest of the day, nice journey together with Companial, and make this step, make the change. So inviting it for an action. With that, thank you and wishing you nice rest of the day.